are you, my love? So good to see you.
Come in. I can't believe you just had a baby. You look absolutely incredible.
I'm holding it all together.
No, listen.
Tied in with the Spanx. Thank you for having me. This is
Well,
gorgeous.
come in. My living room.
A famous sofa.
To you, she's an award-winning Bollywood actress, delighting audiences in films such as Madras Patanam and 2.0. She's an animal rights activist, an ambassador for PETA, and a patron for children's charities, including the Sneha Sagar Orphanage for Girls, and has been awarded the International Day of the Girl Child Award from the UN. She's a mum of two, giving birth to her second less than a month ago with her new husband, Ed, who didn't give birth, by the way, just in case anybody thinks this is that type of episode. Talk about an amazing woman. To me, she's a woman I've admired from afar, who appears to have remained grounded and lovable despite being treated as an otherworldly being in some parts of the world. She's also a Scouser, so I know we're going to get on. It's Amy Jackson.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
need that as motivation daily. I need to listen to that right now.
Yeah, just like know that you're lovable and you're
Thank you.
incredible and gorgeous. Yeah, I've admired you from afar for ages, and I think you deserve all the accolades.
Thank you. All right back at you.
You've just had
Me
a baby.
too. I have.
How much sleep did you have
Oh, not much.
last night?
No, holding it all together. The Spanx are on.
I can't
sleep,
believe you're
it's-
here. 3 weeks,
You
right?
know what? You've done me a favour, Paloma. It's that baby bubble, which is beautiful, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. But I've not had like an adult conversation for a while, so I don't know what you're going to get from me today. Gobbledygook. But it's been nice to kind of have some time, have some downtime, and then, you know, eventually kind
Have
of
a
step
blow
back into
dry.
a blow dry.
Because your hair, you've got that pregnancy hair still, and it's just amazing.
For now, like we said, I mean, this might be all out in 6 months, so I'm making the most of it. Little
you
blow dry
should.
sorts you out
You
as
look
well, doesn't it?
stunning. Tell me, how many languages do you speak now?
Oh, I just about speak English properly right now. Like, see that? I just about speak English properly. But obviously, I worked in India. And I worked in Hindi films, Tamil films, Telugu. My English was all right. But working on different films, I'd have a tutor come with me and work on different languages and different states. And it was great. It was such an amazing experience.
I can't believe it. I just think you're incredible.
It's such a shock to the system because obviously Scouser, and it doesn't really kind of, you know, it doesn't make sense, but it was a twist of fate. It was such an amazing journey.
What actually happened?
Well, truthfully, I mean, I shy away from it because it kind of comes with a bit of a bad rep, but I did a competition called Miss Teen World. It
Yeah.
was a pageant. And I was always a bit of a performer, and it was kind of my way to perform on stage and with great outfits. And we also did a charity gala for my mum's charity, the Riding for Disabled Association. So it was kind of a package of an all-in-one kind of show that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And after that, I got scouted by a film director who was over in the UK. They were casting for a British governor's daughter. It was called Madras Patanam, which you pronounced very well.
Oh,
before.
God.
That was epic.
Trying. You're better than me.
No, that was very good. And they were casting for that film. They needed a British family. And he'd seen this. And in all places, the Daily Mail, the article was in the Daily Mail. So they're good for something, the Daily Mail. They're all right for something, you know? And I went for the audition. There were a lot of people in the audition room, didn't really know what I was doing.
And you were how old?
I was 16 at the time.
So young.
So young. Took my dad. We went
well,
in.
you needed your dad
Yeah.
to protect you.
I did. No, I'd
Yeah.
never been to London before that. So he drove me down the motorway at 4:00 in the morning for the 9:00 audition.
Oh my goodness.
And then that afternoon, we got
And
off
then
the
since
film.
then, you've done multiple films, won awards. That's your place where you're basically a superstar, aren't you?
I mean, I've done a lot of films there. It's been such an amazing journey. After that film, it kind of opened the way for me.
Did you feel like you were very vulnerable at 16 coming into... Oh,
Oh,
what's that?
Hello.
Who's this?
Hi.
This is Nicky. Do you know each
We
other?
went together ages ago.
Oh my
Do
God,
you know
we did.
Nicky?
How are you? Oh, I haven't seen you for ages.
so long.
Oh,
So lovely to
I
see
knew, my darling. I did.
Sit down.
Sir, come on,
I
where are
know-
you going,
Apologies,
Nicky?
Amy. I've just got to get some off my chest.
Go on.
I can't fix your vibrator. Who comes knocking, asking to fix the vibrator? Firstly, I'm not an electrician. And two, you need to get out more. She's a recluse. She never leaves the
I
fucking
can
house.
relate right now, Paloma.
Sorry, this is really
And
embarrassing.
then I'm going to have a coffee because
But
I'm
if you're
so
not-
wound up.
Nicky, have you not fixed it?
I can't fix the bloody thing.
Relate,
it's really
Paloma, don't worry.
embarrassing.
Absolutely not.
I'm really embarrassed.
Absolutely not. If I
Nicky,
could fit
did you
mine in
do
my bag,
that on
I would.
purpose?
Do what?
Such an attention seeker.
No, you came knocking, asking me if I could fix it. How embarrassing.
You not got the charger for it.
I'm gonna. The invoice is on its way.
Well, it's not fixed, is it?
Oh,
Is it still on?
vile.
It's off.
We need to get you a new one.
Does it work? Looking for sponsorship.
And Summers. My God.
I love that you still got your accent.
Mine has come out even stronger. Mine is like defiant.
Did you call your kid Bernadette?
Benedict. Shelma.
No, my overriding impression is my land's back-to-back house in Anfield,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And the door opening, one of the back streets.
Benedict.
Bernadette, your fucking tea's ready. And that's
You
never
know
left me.
what? I love that. I think that Bernadette, it's a very
What?
scouse name.
It's
I'm going
so
to save that
scouse.
for my daughter.
Benny!
Benny, come on, love, your tea's ready. I
Isn't
love
it a great name,
It's a great name.
Bernadette?
It's
Do
strong.
you have tea or dinner?
It's tea. Yeah, we
Oh,
have
yeah, sorry,
tea.
tea.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have the whole bath and bath
Oh.
situation with my eldest. I'm like, it's bath. And he's like, Mummy, it's bath. And I'm like, it's bath.
Is your
And
kid
grass and
posh?
grass. He's
Because
got
I always say to my
Not-
kids, you're posher than me.
way posher than me.
What
I mean,
do you
can't,
say?
it's not difficult.
Well, I say bath.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bath.
oh.
What,
With
with
a
an
foot
air?
at the end.
Oh, yeah. Bath. But don't you
Every
hate it
so
when someone says,
often.
oh, do come for supper? What the fuck?
Supper.
What is
Supper.
supper?
Well, I assume it's dinner. Or
It's
does
like
it mean a
is it a
small
special
dinner?
kind
It's a small, it's
I
like,
think
it's like a little piece of like
It's
a tea
like a
cake
glass
or
of
something.
champagne and a
Yeah.
canapé or something.
Yeah.
You must come for supper. Well, I'm not
Supper,
fucking not. I'm
absolutely
coming for
not.
dinner.
What
I'm
would
You
not
you
know
coming.
what? Once
Want
I
a
was
cup of tea?
invited to the palace.
Oh, posh.
And because of the time that it was well posh, but it was an event. And because it was like 7 till 9 or something, I thought they'd feed us, won't they,
Oh,
at Buckingham
rude.
Palace? It's dinner time. Was there any food? Was there fun?
I've heard that
I'm
before.
sorry, that's the worst hospitality I've ever.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Because someone you wanted to get a nice hood,
Shocking.
and he didn't even
No
get a glass of
food.
water.
Stop it, Nicky. At the palace.
The palace
Not
to
even
get
a
a nice
glass of
hood.
Thames finest.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was like, that is disgusting.
You'd be expecting
You wanna
like the
go on
red
some
carpet and champagne.
champagne?
It's an experience.
It's-
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
But no, I said to one of the butler guys, I went up to him and I went, this is dinner time. What the hell? And he goes,
starving.
I'll sort something out for you. He was northern because he goes, I know. He were like,
I love that.
not even a sandwich. He goes, would you have a cheese sandwich? I went, at this
I'll have
point,
anything.
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 And did he?
He got me a cheese sandwich.
Lovely.
Isn't that awful?
Good
It was
northern
in the
stock.
palace.
That's why good
Love that.
northerners.
But it wasn't the best cheese. I would expect it to be particularly
Was
nice.
it on some
was
blessed bread
normal.
or like?
It was a bit like, a bit
Bit
of
of
Hovis.
Hovis.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Audacity.
So you've just had a baby.
I have.
Talk to me about the madness of that.
I mean, the raging hormones, the pregnancy hormones, that last month, I did not know myself. I was like a dragon, truthfully.
How?
Just very short fused, you know. It was just, I was on the edge and I could feel like my body was just ready to explode, you know, excuse the pun in that
Yeah.
sense. And my mind, it was hard to really have a grasp of things. And obviously we've got the 5-year-old, which is wonderful. But when you're trying to be mum for him and then, you know, navigate this new pregnancy and then the new birth, and you're not really prepped for what to expect as well with these hormones. I never knew until I actually, you know, fell pregnant, or, you know, we go through it with periods and we go through it with our pregnancies, postpartum now, and then menopause. It's continuous.
Women's life.
Women, all the time, and we were not prepped.
It's a
for that.
clusterfuck.
It really is.
But so I'm interested because I obviously had 2 kids with
Mm-hmm.
somebody, and that relationship didn't work out. And then you've had a similar situation.
Yes.
Your first was with somebody that the relationship didn't go so well with, and now you're in a better relationship. My curiosity is like, is it better because you're with a better guy, or is it just as mad and just as destructive?
No, it's, if I've got to be honest, having that support system, which I think a lot of women lack, even a community, even people around them, like their mom or friends or people to like support. Having that support has been incredible. I think that's why I'm able to get out now and feel like a bit of a whole person. I'm still a bit all over the place, but having someone you can lean on, especially through the pregnancy, and everything's changing and you don't feel yourself. And
were
feel
you
like,
able to explain to him,
exactly.
like, oh, this is actually familiar, I'm not feeling... And was he more supportive?
Being able to communicate. I mean, I've never had a relationship. I don't know about you, Paloma, but being able to actually have a chat and be open and confide in someone, I've never had that in any relationship. So it's made a huge difference.
Have you got any mad things that you've done this pregnancy?
I'm mad all the time. I'm mad in every sense of the word.
How?
I mean, just for instance, the short fuses. The toast the other day, I was making toast. I did 6 pieces of toast and I'd forget to put it in the toaster. And I'd come back and I'd just be like, where's my toast? And I burned 6 pieces of it each time.
Did you end up throwing it at the wall?
I did. That's exactly what I did. And I lay there with my boobs leaking, one baby on the boob. Andrea's kicking off. He's like, Mummy, I've got to go to school. So just trying to navigate those sort of things. And
it's overwhelming.
Overwhelming. When you've got a baby on your hip, and, you've got these raging hormones kind of flooding through you. It's that, you feel like you're losing your mind.
Do you recognize yourself?
I looked in the mirror this morning and I was like, no, I don't.
What do you think was different? Well, because you're coming on this and it's nerve-wracking as well to be this soon after giving birth. And you're like, how am I doing this?
Last week, I had the first outing and I mean, the tube was definitely too intense for the first outing after the baby. Self-conscious and kind of just having this kind of out-of-body experience from being in the baby bubble for so long,
Yeah, but also I don't think you've been in the baby bubble for very long.
No.
And you should, give yourself a break.
Thank you.
Mentally, because you're amazing. I can't believe you look like this.
Spanx and a blow dry. Spanx and a blow dry. If you could have seen me a few hours ago.
Yeah, we're going to go easy on you, though, because I know what it's like as well when you first have a baby and you're sort of so, like you just described, so removed from your own body that you might even just at times be like, what did I say?
What was that?
What were we talking about?
What was I saying?
Why did I put myself in that situation?
Yeah, it is because you go off on a tangent as well. And I mean, the ADHD doesn't help. So that mixed with hormones, I mean, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, we've all got it.
Hold them together.
Do you want to tell me a time that you felt very sad?
There's so much sadness in the world right now. And it really does affect you. And I was thinking to myself, what is the root cause of the majority of the sadness? It's the bullies in power. What we're seeing, like in politics, we're seeing it in the media, we're seeing it in all different kind of industries and corporations. And you're fantastic at, speaking out. You call it out, you say it for what it is. But I think, we're a lost society. And I think people need to do more of speaking out. But obviously it's the fear that creeps in and protection of themselves. But unfortunately, it's bullies winning that is making this place like an unbearable world. Have you
experienced that in the industry you came into? Was it quite male dominated?
Very male dominated. And, the film industry generally is it's hierarchical to say the least. But I have been lucky. I have worked with amazing people. There was one time that really stands out, and this is, away from all the incredible people that I've worked with, this one really stood out for me because it wasn't just a bully in my kind of world, in my living. It was the whole crew and cast that it was affecting. So I remember I got a call, I got a great script come in, and the next step was to go meet the producer and the associate director for the narration. So I'm really nervous. turn up at the office with my manager and my agent, and we walk in. And it was like a really tense atmosphere. You know, you could feel like, I don't know, like a bad energy. I felt it from the moment I walked in, but I thought, oh my God, I'm nervous. So maybe that's just me putting that energy out there. Ooh, don't know what that was about. So I walked in and sat down at the desk. And the producer was there. He had his feet on the table and he was staring out the window. No acknowledgement to us walking in. My agent didn't say anything. My manager didn't say anything. The associate director was sat behind, staring at the floor, had a glance, said hello, and just continued to stare at the floor. And I thought, this is really weird. And I'm really awkward and I'm so uncomfortable. So I sat there for about a minute and nobody said anything. So I said, hey, sir, it's lovely to meet you. You know, I'm a really big fan of your work. So thanks for taking the time. Nothing. Like absolute radio silence, nothing. And I was thinking, why is nobody saying anything? And I was like, this is really uncomfortable. So the leg was going and sweat was dripping from my forehead. And I was like, do we just sit here in silence? Then he says to me, after about what felt like 5 years, it was about 5 minutes of just silence, nothing. He says, you should really wear heels when you come for meetings. You're shorter than what I expected. And then said, are you going to continue with this narration? When are you going to start? He was all flustered. Sorry, sir. Did the narration. And then midway was on his phone and walked out. And I was like, okay, well, that didn't go well. I didn't get the part. Maybe it's a lucky escape, you know? All right, don't worry about it. Get an email the next day. Would love to offer you the film.
I hope you didn't take it.
Listen, I know. This is what makes me sad. Everyone was, it was my manager, my agent, the lead actor.
Were they all men?
No, they were 2 women as well.
Oh my God.
2 women. And they said, this is such an amazing opportunity. You've got to do this film. You won't even see the producer. He won't be on set. You know, that was him. You're not going to have to deal with it. You've got a great team. Go for it. So again, went against the gut instinct and did the film. Anyway, he made everybody's life a misery on set. And he was there 99% of the time, checking where his money was going. He was there. He had his trailer set up for an office. And then it was just a really uncomfortable kind of way of working. We were behind schedule on one of the days. And the DOP was kind of flustered. And he walks over between his ranting and his kicking off and screaming and shouting, making just life a misery. Raises his hand and hits the lighting assistant across the face. His glasses fall on the floor and everybody's just stood in disbelief.
No one said anything.
Nobody said anything. I was in the trailer at the time. It was lunchtime whilst they were setting up. Heard about it afterwards. And we just continued like normal. We continued like normal.
I'm uncomfortable
this
hearing
guy
it.
he had lighting guy, his glasses were broken. And you could see like he was a young 19-year-old, 19, 20, just trying to do his job. And nobody said anything because he was the money man. He was the man in charge of, you know, this whole production. And I vowed from that moment onwards, that's the last time I'll go against my gut instincts or not speak up.
Yeah.
You know, when you have like the platforms like we do and we use them in the best way we can, you are exceptional. I need to do more of what you do. But that was the last time, number one, I'd go against kind of what my gut was telling me. And then obviously not saying anything and not like speaking out.
I feel like as somebody who does quite often, it's because I find that the awkwardness that you described so crippling that I'd almost rather take it for the team that I'm the scapegoat to sort of smash the kind of invisible cloak away or something.
It's so true.
Like, but I think when you're an outspoken person, people always quite often think that it's because you're not affected by it or you're ballsy or you're confident or whatever, and it's not actually true. It's just that I just can't bear
it.
I know that if I didn't say something, I would have gone home in a situation like that maybe and thought about it for 6 months.
I still think about it 10 years ago and I still think and I still regret.
So I sort of think it's better for me to access it and deal with it in the moment. And obviously like now things politically are feeling really terrifying and like you're hearing things you never thought in our generation we would experience. Like now I'm scared to get on a plane to America.
I know.
Or whatever, because I'm worried that I will be refused entry for just sharing an opinion. and stuff like that. Like you think, oh, I could just sort of cower into the background, but it wouldn't sit right with me.
Absolutely not.
But I'm really sorry that happened. And I'm sort of weirdly really sorry I wasn't there, because I would have said something
and
for you.
I wish if it had happened now, I would have
Just like,
jacked in
what are you
myself.
doing?
I would have, honestly, if but you only see that in hindsight. And when you're, older and you've gone through these things. And I also felt, obviously, it was a different industry. I was in a different country, and I kind of relied on other people and kind of followed, the way of their working.
Well, because your management and whatever was presumably were a lot older than you and were meant to kind of lead
the way and kind of have some guidance. And when I saw them kind of cowering, I was like, I got a bit fearful.
Do you think that, like, because what scares me and what I'm thinking about as you're talking about this is like this kind of bullying thing. Obviously, there are females that can be bullies, but the ones we're speaking about in political power at the moment and everything, like even their misogyny tends to be glorified now in the media. Like, oh, he's got, who X has got 12 different kids from different mums.
I'm sorry, if that was a woman, if somebody said it just would be completely different.
Or like people were speculating on, like, you've been not charged with rape, but all these things, and this stuff happens. And as women, we're shrinking, and everyone's talking at the moment about toxic masculinity and men as victims and stuff. But like the reality is, from my perspective, is like, you don't know what it's like to be a woman that's like that vulnerable physically, and a man being like that to you. And then in a way, I guess, when you're, like, you've got it in the back of your head that you were probably, your career began because you're very beautiful, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not.
100%. I had the right look for the film. And that
like
is
a sort of,
yes.
So that's objectification in itself. And then you're probably always torn between, like, do they really value me?
100%. And I've had that throughout my entire 20s. It's that self-doubt, and it's the chronic kind of people pleaser in me. I grew up that way. And then obviously navigating through, as you say, a very male-dominated industry. And honestly, I've dealt with some fantastic men in that industry and great directors and great actors, but there have been some
exceptions.
Oh, huge exceptions.
And I also think it's interesting with like beauty, because you're very attractive and stuff, like, so you get it from all sides in a way, because other women can feel threatened and maybe not celebrate you because they feel a bit like, ooh. And then men can be very dominant because they've objectified you. And it's not fair, because people would be like, oh, pretty privilege is like a thing, right?
Pretty privilege is a thing. So I felt like I really had to, number one, work hard. And it was hard work, but enjoyable work. But I really grafted. And, people don't see that.
Like a million languages.
And forget that. The dancing, Paloma. Oh, my God. Paloma, I wish I knew you back then, because my dancing is absolutely hideous. And it would take me 3 weeks to learn a routine. I've just not got the rhythm. It just doesn't flow well. But there was a lot of graft that went into it. And, I was massively homesick. It was an amazing opportunity. But at the same time, whilst all my friends were kind of doing their thing and like living those early, 20s, I was in a trailer, learning my lines, which I'd fully enjoyed, but it was a whole different world away to what I was used to. But definitely, I think, in a world that's full of misogyny and bullies, it's kind of important to really voice it. And that's what I've learned from that anyway.
What do you think, after all that and reflection, like underneath it all's been your power? What's your power against them?
That's a really good question. It is. It's a great question. I think now, knowing my worth, it really is, and knowing my worth, and not, as you say, having to find value from other people. Like, I know who I am. I'm proud of who I am. And knowing that whether they like me or not, or whether, I please them or not, then I'm okay. And I've got my own thing going on. But I think that took a lot of years to establish.
I don't think many people could do it. I really don't. I don't think many people could do that. And that you've grown up in the sort of in that gaze, and you've become a woman. You've had 2 children now, all of that, and you've gone through all of that. I don't like that mistreatment of you, and I hope, like, now you're like stand your ground.
Now, I mean, if they met me now, as I said, that tolerance we spoke of before, that was very minimal.
Yeah.
The minimal tolerance is there.
Keep
so
it.
they would,
Maybe
they would
it
get
sounds
it.
like you need it.
It's 100%. It's it's there now. So not to be messed with. But I think that comes with age.
Do you think that you in the past were attracted to bad people?
Yes. I think I was a magnet for narcissists. I really think because
Narcissists tend to, one of the symptoms, because we've all
Yes.
Googled narcissism, because we've all suspected we've been with a narcissist. One of the symptoms apparently is like they like to feel validated by like a beautiful girlfriend or wife, or a beautiful or a talented woman or whatever.
Who they want to change though after they get with. They want to completely change the whole person that they are and mold them into something that they want and they need.
Break them down.
Break them. You're a shell of yourself, basically. So I definitely think I can't blame it completely on them because I was, I went along with it as well. So it was not that I was a magnet, but also I went for the wrong type of person. And I think I was craving a kind of love that they were incapable of giving. And then when you're craving that, it's kind of like a toxic addiction, It's like a strange addiction, and you're kind of put on a pedestal and then you're dropped instantly. So it was
Where
a
do you think that
cycle.
came from, that you wanted unavailable
Unavailable love.
men?
And men. It's a good question. And I've talked about it many times with my therapist. I think throughout my teen years, I mentioned my mom, she's fantastic. And I've got a great mom and I've got a great dad, but they are divorced and they separated at a very young age. And I think I was around 2 or 3. And I do remember, unfortunately, early years, you remember those arguments between them and you remember those kind of fights, and they're like my core early memories.
Yeah.
And then I also craved that kind of family unit, I always wanted that. But for some reason, always went for a man that was incapable of providing that.
Because that's the familiar.
That's the familiar.
Yeah.
It's the familiar, and you go for the familiar, and you go for the, the unattached kind of guy who can't kind of give you what you want, and that's just extra heartbreak on top of everything else.
And not what you deserve.
No. So, but I think it took for my son to arrive to be like, right, this is the kind of life that I want for me and for him.
It's funny that, because I think quite a lot of people are not so great at defending themselves, but then quite good at...
It's so sad.
Then you have a child and you're like, I'm doing this on behalf of my child because I have to protect myself so I can be a good
be a
mum
whole
to this
person
child.
to this child, and not, as we say, a
but
shell
it's a
of
shame we
oneself.
don't do it for ourselves without that.
I wish I did, and I wish I did it earlier, but timing is everything. They say timing is everything, and it happened when it happened. And I'm a great mum for my boys now. I feel like a whole person, and especially when you're raising boys, you want to be able to have them in an environment that is all about teamwork. It's all about raising like a team player and somebody, as we say, we're raising that future generation of men.
Have you ever been bad?
Be with a little b, phones, replying. I mean, if I look at
It's not bad.
Oh, it is if you see how many missed calls I've got. It's about 250 missed calls, 400 voicemails. I saw on my phone. I'll show you.
I think I need Nicky to come and get the bad out of this woman, because I don't actually believe that she's ever not been bad. Do you, Nicky?
No, I have been bad.
A monster when I shot her.
Well, sit down.
She was absolutely horrendous.
So, Nicky, Amy's told me that she's bad with a small b. What do we think? Because if anyone's going to pull out a bad
Nicky's
version,
the one to do it.
Nicky brings the bad out of everyone.
Nicky's the one to do it.
Actually. No, I think it's a very small b. She's not bad.
Do you know what? I'm not
She's a nice
inherently
one.
bad, but
You must have done something.
No, I have, and I have.
There we go.
I know when I have, and it's when I've been bad to myself and I've been bad to the people around me. Then it's the self-sabotage we touched on at the earlier stage of the podcast. It's when the self-destruction kind of creeps in.
Yeah.
And the self-sabotage, and you kind of just go.
But is that
full
when it
swing,
comes out on
fuck it.
set, though, and you're the people around you? Because I see that a lot in my job,
Yeah.
you know, and someone can come in and they can be a complete bitch. Hate the clothes. You know,
Oh
and
no! Oh no! I'd never do
and then at
that.
the end of the shoot, they're going, "Oh, can I buy these dresses?" And I go to the
Can I
stylist.
take them?
There's no way that bitch is having
Taking
any of
these
those
clothes. Absolutely not. You're not even going to
Oh my
retouch it
God.
properly.
And they're like that. I go, no. When she came in,
Those are
she
awful.
trashed them all.
Dragon. No, exactly. No, I hold it together on set. and
Yeah, but
I'll
but
slag
you're
them off
memorably
afterwards.
lovely.
Oh, do you?
She's memorably lovely, though, isn't she?
She's such a lovely girl.
Am I awful?
Horrendous, Paloma.
Like
Get us all into
I
trouble.
want the inside knowledge. Have you ever spoken up to someone famous? Like, I'm not going to say who, but I was in a situation once with a very famous person, and I was in a green room after a TV show, and
Oh, God.
Here we go.
I'm not going to say who they were because they're very, very famous, but they sort of, their mum was there, and they were quite rude to their mum in front of like everybody.
Oh no, that's not nice.
And I felt really bad for her. And then I said to the person, I can't stand here and hear you do that. I just can't. I'm so sorry. But it's really embarrassing for your mum, and it's embarrassing
Good
for
for
all
you.
of us.
Everyone around.
And then they
that's
were like,
the right thing to
yeah,
do.
and then
That's
they
not
sent me a
bad.
bunch of flowers to say sorry. But I spent ages thinking
Good.
maybe it wasn't my place.
It's
Something-
always your place
No.
to defend. I feel like you are the defender of, of the
true?
world. I really
Yeah, but
feel
maybe
it.
the mum wasn't that nice behind closed doors. I don't know what the
No.
truth was.
Do you
I
know
just didn't
what?
like the embarrassment of. I felt like she was an older lady, and I could visibly see she was embarrassed.
Well,
Yes.
of course. And even if that was the case, even if she was a real like horror behind closed doors.
She's probably delighted
Yeah.
that he was called out.
Exactly. And even if that was the case, you do it behind closed doors, especially with your mum.
Nikki, what have
Yeah,
you
you
done
can't
that's
be-
been
Well, the
bad?
thing I do mostly, but I think people, celebs, when I'm shooting them, appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
Like the stylist
100%.
will come out, oh, she's wearing this Versace. Is she? Fuck.
He looks absolutely not.
Like a size 24 when she's a size 6. It's fucking
It
horrendous.
does nothing for her, but that's
And they go, oh, it's a new
honesty.
collection. I don't give a fuck.
She's not wearing it.
And you
It's
can
not a
see the
good look
celeb
on
go,
her.
oh, thank God he
Thank
said
God
that.
he's
But the
here.
honesty, of course.
And I think people if I was being photographed, I'd want
Always.
someone to say, you can't be showing that.
But
You
that's
look
kindness.
horrific."
That's not being
I've
bad.
had you
That's
do
not
that for me.
nastiness.
I've been on a shoot with you where you've gone, that's not a good look
Yeah,
for
it's not
you.
a good
Take,
look.
Yeah.
take the coat off.
Yeah, or turn side on or something. You know what I
Of
mean? I think,
course.
but but the thing is, I've noticed though that people, when they see pictures of themselves in a magazine, they never say, "Oh, I'm never using that stylist again." They'll say, "Oh, that photographer's
Well,
made
that's the
me
thing.
look
It
really
lands
fat."
on you. It lands
So
on you.
It comes to me, so I'm
So you're
like,
protecting
right.
yourself.
Once that happened once, I was like, right, that's never happening
Exactly.
again.
Have you
know.
ever been a paparazzi, ever?
No, I've never done it. They kind of make me laugh. I remember years ago, it was Princess Margaret's 50th or something. That's how old it was.
Yeah.
We're at the club on Park Lane or wherever those AA clubs are. The security was so tight. God knows why I was there. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And there was no press apart from me. And suddenly this cake comes out. She goes to blow the candles out, and a paparazzi comes from under the table and snaps the picture while I was pissing myself.
What? On the roadside? This was on the roadside?
No, in the club.
Was he
we
on
had
the
a party.
trolley? Was he on the cake trolley?
No, he was under the set table,
Under
and they brought
table.
this cake out and put it down, and she went to...
Surely that's not allowed.
And he just
Surely.
comes up, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, you've got to admire that.
100%. Get that shot.
Commitment.
It's
It's
commitment.
like being a magician's assistant,
Yeah.
because when I was a magician's assistant, I used to have to sit in the box.
When were you a magician's
I know.
assistant?
Years ago, but I used to have to sit in the box sometimes for the whole show, just to wait for him to turn the rabbit into me.
Oh my
But it'd be
God.
like 2 hours, just
Surprise.
like this.
Oh.
Waiting for
Like
it, but
that
the commitment.
paparazzi under the table, and then in a sparkly outfit, and then not be too sweaty.
Brilliant.
And
I
just
come out.
Here she
Oh.
is.
Yeah.
Bunny ears in
Debbie
tow.
McGee.
Debbie McKay.
But so I'm really yet to find out anything that you've done bad.
Well, touching on the self-sabotage, being bad to the ones
Yourself.
around me, myself, and then hurting, it hurts you know, my mum, my friends have picked up the pieces so many times.
But I actually feel sad that you're bad to yourself in your mind because you're so wonderful.
Thanks,
And
Paloma.
do you know what my mum
Don't
always...
the waterworks are going to
She-
pick up
but
a hormonal.
She's
Stop
hormonal as
it.
hell.
She is so wonderful.
Hormonal.
But people love to brand the nice person that does one tiny thing wrong as the bad person all the time anyway.
Oh,
It's like to
it's
poke the bear.
easier.
Yeah, you can go your whole life
Poke the bear and then
you
they act
invite
shocked.
someone to everything you ever do. Maybe you're busy, you don't invite them to one thing, then they don't talk to you again.
Yeah. Yeah, and use it
And
against
they've
you.
never invited you round for dinner.
when-
once.
yes, yeah.
Exactly. You know,
happens
it's
all the
always
time.
not us. It's
Not
them.
us.
Yeah,
We're perfect.
fabulous.
I've lent you my bins.
She let me a garden
Oh,
bin.
that's
Bless
a good.
her.
That's a good garden. Will you do the garden?
Yeah.
Because we're in the same council.
that.
He was like,
My bin's full up.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God,
know
you couldn't
had
have our
to...
bins. Our bins are absolutely chock-a-block. You got good money for those bins.
yeah, I've lent him my bin. That's a good deed.
That's a good deal.
Very good deed.
But Nicky also makes everyone in the whole bloody borough a candle every year.
I feel like I want to live in this borough. I feel like this is the street to be on. I did ask Paloma when I
on the
came.
doorstep. He's like,
Can
I'm
I
just
move
leaving
in?
that. I think you both. I'm just going to say it before we wrap up with Glad, but I think you're both probably way badder than you're letting on.
Oh.
I think I probably am. You're not.
After a little tequila, it all comes out. It all comes out.
You're definitely
Go
bad.
on, give us
bad.
your bad then.
You love
Nick.
these mics, don't you? Tell her that story.
Oh, God, yes. I was
Go
filming
on.
something in his photo studio and I'd been to the gonorrhea clinic.
As you do.
Well,
Casual.
No, the sexual health clinic.
Sexual
Yeah,
health clinic.
because we should all keep check.
Yeah, we got to keep check.
Well,
you
no,
got to keep
because
on
it was
tabs.
really itchy.
Okay.
But anyway, so I went to
Living
the
it
thing
up.
and I was waiting for the results and I had a mic on me. I'm in the
Yeah.
studio and I phoned up the clinic because they hadn't texted or anything. And I said, as soon as he picked up,
Yeah.
I said, have I got gonorrhea?
But
What
it
is
was
it?
mic'd up.
And I was mic'd up. And I just saw these three heads turn towards the phone, laughing their head off. And I'm standing there like this going, oh, I just want to die.
Oh no, want the ground to swallow you
Oh
up.
my God. And he obviously said they couldn't hear that.
Of
No,
course.
you haven't got, there's no, this is all clear.
You should have let them know though,
it
just
was-
in
what
case.
was-
But I didn't put the phone, it was bloody Radox shower gel.
We don't want a sponsorship
no,
from
but that's a
Radox.
rookie move.
We don't.
That is
we
a
don't want
rookie
Radox
move.
because
Can't
it
have
makes you
anything in
get
the bag.
gonorrhea.
No.
dick.
Not that I'm a sensitive soul
I
as
have
well.
to use like zero
Yeah.
perfume.
pH
Because
balance, you've
girls
got to
can't
keep
have
it.
anything round their nunny, can they?
Absolutely nothing. I'm a
So-
sensitive soul. No, none of that.
Anybody
Keep
at
it.
home who think they might have gonorrhea, check if you're using Radox.
Radox.
It's that. Stop
Absolutely.
using that before you go to the
Exactly.
clinic.
Before you have to go and get checked.
Yeah. And then
All
you
right.
don't
Well,
embarrass
at least
yourself.
we know.
Well, at least you know now not to
Exactly.
rub that in.
Exactly.
That's my top
So we've
advice.
done bad. The final thing,
Yeah.
final bit is what are you glad about?
Oh, I'm going to sound like a little granny here, and it's touching on the garden bins, but I love living out in the sticks. I love living in the countryside.
We're
It makes
city
me
dwellers.
happy. I know, and it does something on like a kind of brainwave level. It calms me down. Clean air, all the animals. I'm a big, animal advocate. I've got the pony, I've got chickens, I've got the
Oh, and
dogs.
you got rats.
Probably got rats knocking about.
That's what I thought as well, but I didn't say it bad.
But you know what? The rats are all right as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I always just let them loose if they're in the barn.
I'm really happy that you've got that.
Yeah, it's good for my
'cause
soul.
I could not bear it.
You couldn't cope with it. You were a city girl.
Well, I'd
yeah.
find the peace and the quiet probably deafening,
Uh-huh.
and I'd be rattling about in there, probably
Yes.
going mad.
Yeah,
Thank
having
you
me
so
on.
much for being on.
Thank you. It
And
was
thank
lovely.
you, Nicky.
Oh, no, thank
Bringing
you.
some Scouse joy.
You'll be talking Scouse by the time we leave, Paloma.
I'm an honorary northerner.
It'll be great. It's been great. Seeing
Been
you
great.
you
Been
again,
great,
girl.
love.
You're gorgeous, you.
So are you.
Stay the same.
Absolute
No,
stunner.
don't stay the same. Change as many fucking times as
Exactly.
you want.
Mm-mm-mm.
And
I
so
think
you
that's the way
should.
with kids, right? The identity is just all over the place.
Yeah, be fluid.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank you, Paloma. That was lovely.
being gorgeous.
Got me out the house anyway.
Well,
Had a little bit of a
why
moment.
don't you go for a little mooch around on your own and pretend it ran over so you get a break?
Shoreditch House is next.
Yeah.
You'll see me in there raving later.
feel like she had a whole
Forgot I
day
had
of
2
it.
kids. All right, my love. Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Just love